back. I want you to feel yourself sitting in your seats. Take a deep breath through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Your breath is your friend. A friend that we often forget, but is always there to help us. And we're going to hopefully, over the course of learning together, we're going to realize how deep and how important our breath is in bringing us to a sense of consciousness, a state of connectivity. So I want you to slowly reunite with that friendship. You can close your eyes if needs be. Utilize your breath to bring you into the now. Allow yourself to feel the sensations in your body. Can you sense any tension in any areas of your body? Using the breath to breathe into them. Quieting the mind. Bringing yourself into the present. I want you to slowly open your eyes and just lean forward. Just maybe look at something in front of you as you open your eyes. Now, the purpose of what we're here to do. Firstly, don't lose connectivity with that breath. Keep that breath moving. What we're here to do is we're here to live again. Many people wait for moments in their lives to have a permission to live. They wait for circumstances to change in their life to be able to live. And what living means is to connect to your life, to be where you are and tapped into every single thing that's taking place around you, and to galvanize the nutrients in every single moment that you have. But in our lives, we have so many things that are bombarding us, so many things that are taking place in ourselves, so many frustrations that we forget what it means to live. We forget what it means to exist. So I'm giving you now permission to live. Everyone here, you have my permission. Sam, you have my permission. It's not only because we have the same name, but every single person here has permission to live, which means I want you to now not worry about anything that you have taking place. The Zohar, we know, is a Kabbalistic book, a spiritual book that speaks about the purpose of life, the evolution of life. And it says to us something very striking about ourselves. It says that every single thing that you want, every single thing that you're looking for, is found within you right here, right now, inside of you. The best possible circumstance, the best possible scenario, the best possible you is inside of you right now. There's nothing else you need, nothing you need to change, nothing more you need to attain. Every single aspect of connectivity, of nourishment, of goodness, of wholesomeness is found within you right now. So you may think to yourself, how on earth is that possible? I could present to you a number of circumstances in your life. You would say, you know what, if I had that, that'd be fantastic. Imagine if I said to the guys down here, there are a number of Ferraris parked outside. By the way, you can look up now. You don't have to look in front of you. Look around at everyone and say hello. You're all starting to look pretty scary. I'm getting like this. I was like, what? I'm really boring or something, but then I realized that I didn't tell you to actually look up again, so. But it's nice to have you all back with us. But imagine if I said to you, you can think to yourselves, so many different things can happen to make your life better. For guys, the immediate response can be a nice car, endless amount of money. I'm not going to even try to pretend I know what a woman would specifically want in her life. It could be similar. I know that what my wife wants, and there's a lot of connectivity there. But what drives you in a massive way, what gets you excited? And a person may think in their lives that there is so much outside of them that they need. And what I'm telling you now is there's nothing outside of you that you need. Every single thing is inside of you right now. The only thing that stands in the way is ourselves. The only thing that stands in the way is ourselves. And what we're going to try and learn to do together is to identify what is stopping us from attaining and tapping in and feeling that we are alive, feeling that we are present, feeling that everything in our life is something that is a blessing rather than something that we have to fight. So the Zohar tells us that, my voice isn't always like this, by the way. I had a bit of a cold earlier, so it adds to the meditative experience. So we thank Hashem for giving me this cold to provide us with a deeper trance of connectivity. Zohar says that we all start off as a pit. Imagine starting off as a pit. And that pit is constantly fed from without. Constantly you have these angelic forces walking towards your pit and pouring into this pit jugs of water. And that's how we start off our lives. Constantly a pit waiting for these jugs of water to be poured into us. And it says that the purpose of life is to turn into a wellspring that fills itself from within, that sprouts out from within, that waters itself from inside. What does it mean that you start off being an individual that is filled from without, and then you need to turn into an individual that is filled from within? What does it mean that there is a flow of energy that we can discover in ourselves? What that means is that we're not constantly chasing our tails. That what we have there is a reservoir of energy, of life. Where is that found? So what I want to do, I don't know where I put it actually. Does anyone see my book anywhere? Is it behind me? It was behind me. No. Okay, I'll just have to turn you off. Oh, it's over there. My apologies. So what I'm about to read you is a verse. The verse has within it the blueprint of how to tap into this reservoir that's inside of us. It also has within it the aspects that will drive us so far away from that place that it will keep on taking you out into the ocean. It will keep on sucking you out from where you need to be. So let's see what this blueprint is. The blueprint tells us as follows. I want you to listen carefully because we're going to focus on these elements. We're not going to stay with the verses, but each verse that we read has within it a silent framework that I want you to hear resonating with you. It says that there's a river that extends or leaves a place called Aden. Aden is a place of immense pleasure, immense serenity, immense tranquility. And essentially that's what we're all chasing and all looking for in our lives. A place of tranquility, a place of serenity, a place of calm, a place of connectivity. And we're told that there's a river that comes from this place. And what that river is an energy that filters through into you from that place of complete peace and serenity. And it goes to feed and water a place, lahashkois esagan, to water a place called the garden. And this is where it all goes rife. And from there, it splits off into 4 heads. Those 4 heads are 4 different rivers. 4 different places in our lives where we split off. Which means the following. Every single one of us wants to find a place of tranquility, a place of calm, a place of connectivity, a place of completely being aligned. And we think, like I thought, if I get a beer, it's going to help me. Speaking to Ilan, he had the same discussion with himself. Should he have alcohol before or not? Does it aid your meditation or not? A sip, so it's okay. But what are these things that take you away from you? You know what they are? It tells us. The first one is a river called Pishon. And it's a river that surrounds a place that has gold in it. The second one is a river called Gichon. It surrounds a place called Kush. The third river is a river called Chidekel, and it surrounds a place called Ashur. And the fourth river is Paras. What are these 4 rivers? I want you to focus in on this. We all have places inside of us where there's a place of connection. There's a place where we feel tapped in. And this is something that descends or comes from a place of complete tranquility. Although there is a place in our lives where everything goes apart. That river hits a place and splits off into 4. Where does it split? Is a place called the tree of good and evil. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. Which is a place of confusion in our lives. A place of feeling that almost you're thrown from place to place. It's almost you're about to land, and immediately while you're about to land, you're thrown from the next place to another place. A feeling of never arriving. In fact, if you read, it says if you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, one of the punishments that is given is you get death. But the terminology that's given is moist tamus. Moist tamus means that you have continual death. What continual death means is that you're constantly feeling every moment, am I going to actualize something? Am I going to get something from this experience? No. Am I going to get something from this? No. Maybe I'll go to sleep tonight, I'll wake up tomorrow morning and everything's going to be different. I'm going to attain something new. Something's going to change in my life. Finally, I'm going to win everything that I need. I'm going to make everything that I need. I'm going to meet something or someone that's going to change the course of my life. Everything's going to be perfect. But what that mentality does is it takes us everywhere but ourselves. Everywhere but here, but now, but inside of you. The first river is a desire to chase zahav. Zahav is what? Gold. A desire to chase something that is an object outside of you. Attaining wealth. Something that is of a physical nature. Another human being. A house. A car. That's what the river of Zahav represents. The river of gold represents chasing something in your life outside of you, which is an object. And that chasing draws you away from yourself. You can imagine, if only I can get this, and then everything will be tranquil, peaceful. Once you get it, you need it again. You need something again and again and again. It says if a person has 100, they need 200. If a person has 200, they need? Very good, Kevin. An endless desire for more. An insatiable desire for more. The second river is the river Kush. Kush is the river of desire. But desire in the sense of experience. The desire in the extent of wanting to expand your experiences. So the feeling of needing to travel and explore. The feeling of sometimes experiencing something beyond yourself, something different, extending yourself beyond yourself, which can be very positive sometimes. But if a person's addicted to that river, just like they may be addicted to the river of gold, they're everywhere but inside of themselves. The third river is the river called Gichon. Gichon is a place where a person wants to attain a sense of coming first. They want to be in a state where they are always number one. They're always in front of someone else. But essentially the reason why they're doing it, why do you think, Rory? Why do you think a person wants to be number one? What do you think the essential aspect behind a person is causing them to want to be always number one?
Because they're not satisfied with where they are now. So they need to be something else, I guess. To prove themselves.
It's a very Jewish thing. The anxiety that's inside of a person where they feel detached from the inner self and they need to push themselves constantly and never be satiated by themselves. But another mentality is that we rely on other people as energy to sort of power ourselves. That if we have the appreciation of others, the recognition of others, the esteem in the eyes of others, then we have energy. Now we feel actualized. When no one notices me, when no one feels connected to me, what am I? I can have everything, but what am I? I'm nothing. I don't feel connected to anything. The reason is, again, because we're not connected to ourselves. And essentially what's taking place is what we're going to try and understand if we go back to this analogy of the wellspring. The wellspring, again, was a pit that is fed from without. Entities coming and pouring water in, which is essentially how humanity exists. We rely on externalities to fill ourselves. Experiences, consuming, the opinions of others, the prestige that a person is able to attain. But the essence is discovering something inside of you. Discovering a stillness that is inside of you. A tranquility that's inside of you. That you almost tap into that and you feel that every single thing that you're worried about, every single thing that surrounds you that makes you stressed, that makes you depressed, that makes you anxious, is actually nothing to worry about. Because everything that you need is right there. What we're going to do is we're going to tap into that together. We're going to tap into that by a meditation that goes through 3 steps. The first step is a step called Hachna. Hachna means to humble oneself. It's a place of silence. It's a place of observation. The second step that we're going to go through is a step called Havdalah. Havdalah is going to be a place of distinction. I'll explain each moment that we're in while we're in it. And the final place that we're going to experience together, a place called Hamtoka. Hamtoka is a place of immense sweetness, sweetening, freeing, and tapping in. Before we start on this meditation, does anyone have any questions on what we've discussed up until now? Okay, you good? Okay, I'll ask you just pass us down there, yeah. Just put on the... Yeah.
Didn't you say it splits into 4?
So the fourth, we're going to notice, very good. Thank you, Adam. So the initial 3 rivers that we mentioned was the river of objects, the river of things outside of us that we want to attain. The second river is the river of experiences. And the third river is the river of the ego, the river of needing approval from others, the need of actually being held and given a sense of energy from others. There's a fourth river. And that river is one of the most powerful rivers that will allow us to connect, and is also the most possibly destructive river out of all of them. And that's the river called Paras. Paras is a silent river. But it says that it's so silent that it is one of the loudest rivers that rages inside of us. That where you may see clearly with your eyes and feel clearly with your body the need to buy something, need to consume something, the need to experience something, the upset and hurt when someone doesn't give you the attention that you need. There's a fourth river. And that's the river of our thoughts. The river of continually being bombarded with thoughts, with mind activity which is endless, which has absolutely nothing to do with you. Shoots you from all places, all around, every single place but you. But that river, when utilized properly, when tapped into properly, is the gateway to the deeper self. So essentially, these 4 rivers are stemming out, creating dissonance in our lives, and we jump from river to river. This doesn't work, then this works. You know, when you're feeling upset, someone didn't treat you nicely, you need to go shopping. Once you bought what you need, then you go back to try and get people's appreciation of you. Might be now that you need to go on a trip, experience something, go feel something different. And you jump from one to another. Imagine you lived on one river. Only that river is not sufficient. So we trick ourselves by jumping from river to river. We think that we'll be able to maintain a sense of feeling satiated by jumping constantly. It's referred to as juggling. In fact, it's referred to as juggling while jumping from mule to mule. We won't go into that now. The meditation essentially is going to entail the following. So I want everyone to get comfortable. Hachno means humility, means humbling oneself. And the reason why it's called humbling oneself is because Because in order to tap into a place of stillness in your life, you need to be able to disassociate or detach from what you're used to. What you're used to is your egoic self. What you're used to is the continual bombardment in your mind, trying to find yourself. But what happens when we search so many times and aren't able to discover, we almost develop a false self. A self which we look around and we say, well, maybe this is who I am. Ach no, humility is to be able to completely let go of all of that. Is to be silent and observe the thoughts inside of you. So what I want you to do now is I want you to utilize your breath. Again, breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth. Or simply breathing however you feel comfortable. I want you to initially just title each breath in when you breathe in and out when you breathe out. It's okay for your mind to wander. And it's okay to feel a sense of fear, potentially, of letting go of what you're used to. For you generally are. You feel this claw coming back saying, no, don't lose that brain activity. Don't lose that continual train of thought about nothingness. Bring yourself back to your breath. Feeling yourself in the room. Achno is a silence. It's a silence of observation. So what I want you to do now is any thoughts that you may have that come up into your mind. Could be a thought of, gosh, I'm thirsty, or hot, or I'm cold. Could be a feeling of boredom inside of you, feeling of anxiety, thought about what you need to do tomorrow, what you did today. What I want you to do is just to title that thought. Thought about either of those. I don't want you to say, I am thinking about this. Say, that's a thought about the following. You may have no thoughts now that I've put you on to a super focused state of thinking about your thoughts. But if anything comes in, it can be as subtle as, I can feel myself breathing. It's a thought about me breathing. The next stage is a stage called Havdalah. Havdalah is now noticing the nothingness that's in the background. Underneath all the thoughts, underneath all the emotions, underneath all the feelings, Notice the nothingness that's there. The stillness and expansiveness. A deep state of consciousness that's there. Havdal is separating your attention to your thoughts and allowing yourself to focus on the nothingness. Where people try and focus on nothingness through a state of unconsciousness. In this meditation, we focus on the nothingness in a state of superconsciousness. The stage of Hamtaka, the state of sweetening, is tapping into that nothingness, plugging in. And just like two droplets next to each other of water, merge together. Feel as if you're completely sucked in and dissolving into that nothingness, as if almost all of those energies inside of you, all of that blockages, all of that anxiety, all of that fear, all of those rivers that flow so far away from its source, all form back into that one river, all merge together into a state of nothingness. Mind wanders, it's very normal and very natural. Just bring yourself back to that circumstance, back to that state. If you're able to tap into this place as a place of Aiden, place of immense pleasure and tranquility. Allow it to just completely vacuum out and just pull in every single part of you. Draw that energy into you. You can almost imagine and feel a state of consciousness that's above your head. Taking a deep breath. And breathing out, just breathing that into your body. Okay, I want you to bring yourself back to the room. Consciousness is not a serious thing. It's actually it's meant to be a very light, unshackled feeling. I'm going to conclude by giving you one final understanding. The Nahar, the river that emerges from this place of Aden, this place of oneness, this place of expansiveness, of nothingness, which is everything at the same time. That nahar, that river, runs through you, that runs inside of you. Nahar is an acronym for 3 words or 3 letters initially. Nahar stands for nefesh. Hey stands for hanashama. And Reish stands for ruach, your spirit. These are 3 aspects of your deeper self, 3 aspects of your inner self. When we speak about the concept of repentance, it's brought down according to Kabbalah, true repentance, which in the Hebrew word repentance means teshuvah. Teshuvah means to return, to come back. What it means to repent is to come back to that deep place inside of you, that place of oneness, that place of connectivity, that place of centeredness. Now you might, as we bring you back to the room, feel completely bombarded now again by your thoughts. Completely bombarded again by what you assume is reality, what we assume is reality. But the key is to slowly build up an awareness of this deeper place of connectivity, of self. And when you feel one of those rivers inside of you raging, when you feel a sense of angst, a sense of anger, a sense of sadness, a sense of desire, a sense of being drawn outside of you, what I want you to picture and what I want you to have in your mind and in yourself and in your heart is an understanding that there is something above that where you reside. And these rivers that rage inside of you that go away further and further, if you jump on that river, you're not going to find yourself. It takes you further and further away. Doesn't mean you ignore it. You can identify that river. But it means that we are constantly tapped in and aware to that deeper state of mind that's inside of us. So, that's the conclusion for tonight. For those that haven't experienced meditation in this sense, I'd be interested to hear or see together. Have you felt any shift, at least through your experience, through coming in maybe in the day, to some type of experience of awareness that you may have felt inside of you? Did you feel no shift? Did you feel a continual bombardment in your mind? Did the concepts resonate? Or there's so much noise sometimes that resonates much more? Angelique, do you want to share something with us?
The concept definitely resonates. I'm really glad I came. And there was a huge shift. I was feeling exhausted and frazzled, and the adrenaline from being on call and colleagues, and they're tired and dealing with their emotions while they're grumpy and tired, and it's trauma, and it's very sick people, and it's emotionally taxing, this block that I'm in. So I do find that I have to meditate quite a lot. Or it's overwhelming sometimes, all that you're dealing with. So tonight I definitely felt a shift. There was a huge space to
engage with it.
Yeah.
And I think the important point that we need to gather from what Angelique is saying is that you will have circumstances in your life where you feel bombarded. You feel an energy inside of you that you don't like. What we're learning here is just go underneath that energy. Don't be overwhelmed by it, but realize that you are somewhere behind that and the energy is here. That energy isn't you. Once you flow into that internal energy that you are, that state of consciousness, that state of nothingness, which is super consciousness, you don't feel compelled to be usurped by that energy as much. And you stay in a much calmer place. Anyone else want to share, Adam?
I just feel very relaxed after a very busy week. It's only really starting, so yeah, like I said, I almost didn't come because it was just so crazy. I'm definitely glad I did.
Yeah. How many times do we tell ourselves that we don't have permission to live? Or maybe you were going to do something else tonight. Maybe we weren't invited, but we often tell ourselves we don't have time to live. No time for myself. Who said you're allowed to enjoy life? Anyone give you permission to enjoy life? No. No one gave you permission. But what we're understanding now is you have 100% permission to enjoy your life, every single second of it. There's nothing else you need to attain to be given permission to enjoy your life. Nothing else. And I'll tell you something else. You'll be even more successful because of it. We trick ourselves to say, if only I don't enjoy the present moment and I attain something beyond myself, then that will propel more movement. But all you're doing is you're stifling your own energy, you're stifling your own activity, you're stifling your own vitality, you're suffocating yourself. And then you don't know why life sucks. And why everything I'm doing is giving me 2%, 3% of what I want. Because you haven't given yourself permission to live. Well, you don't need it. You have permission to live. Life is every moment. It's the egoic construct which exists, the illusory self which exists outside of you, which is saying you are not allowed to be. Because as soon as you are, you let go of this false shell that's there. Guy, I'm interested to hear how you felt through the experience.
I've been experiencing meditations in the past, more doing yoga. But I mean, it's the first time I'm hearing it with words of wisdom, and it's a little bit more, interesting to experience it that way. And I must say, for me, she can relate to it, to disconnect and to calm myself down and be in the present is really tough. It's really hard. It's a combination of the being ADD and my mind is everywhere. I'm still, sitting here and also trying to listen. I'm not gonna lie. I went through the different rigors and thinking about different things, but still I was trying to focus and I mean after that, just taking this homework back home,
yes,
and trying to think more. This is how I do things most of the time.
Yeah.
I try to listen and then. So not necessarily getting it right at the moment, but I did understand some of the things that I need to work on, and I think life is all about learning.
I think the initial step, as you're saying, for anyone that's ADD, and I'll put myself in that definition, for an ADD person to go into an environment where we studied for about 8-12 hours a day, and to go into that environment and have to sit there and study was almost impossible. And I can tell you, to access this place inside of you, this depth, and being comfortable with the nothingness, you'll feel the ADD inside of you actually subsiding, because the ADD is a constant thirst from the river. ADD people are excellent at juggling the rivers. This one and that one and this, I'll jump all around. Because they need a fix. But once we train ourselves to be comfortable, to be familiar with our deeper selves, which is that consciousness of expansion, of nothingness that's there, tranquility that is, when you're there with your experience in life, it's much, much different. You can be there with the person, you can be there with the experience. Still. How are you?
What's that? Yeah, I'm feeling good. The concepts definitely resonate, all of them. They're all, familiar. This kind of thing is definitely something that I seek and try and include in my life as much as possible. I suppose the one thing that I'd raise that I almost pitch as a question, and it's the kind of it's like the recurring dilemma almost that always comes up the more I delve into kind of meditation or kind of Eastern philosophy, or that kind of enlightenment, that space beyond the ego, beyond these streams, these rivers. Is once you're there, so once say we're all there right now,
Yes.
in an extreme state.
State of connectivity and consciousness.
Completely, we in that expansive, infinite continuum.
Yes.
All of those attachments are void now. There's no need for zahad, the money, or the validity around us from others. Everything is, we're there.
Yeah.
Then what? In terms of actually participating in the world,
Yes.
going to work. Why go to work tomorrow?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Why even go hang out with my friends and have dinner? Because I'm now that my well is filling up within. I'm completely self-sufficient in a sense. Where's the relevance of actually going to work right now? Because in that context, in that space, it's like, am I going to work tomorrow, man? I'm here. We're there.
Excellent question.
Yeah.
So if you understand the way that a well works, especially if it's filling from within, is it fills up, and then what does it start to do? It starts to overflow. And starts to spill off into all of the surrounding fields, and starts to cause things to sprout and grow. And that's essentially the purpose of this. We can very selfishly come along and just harness the energies of well-being and stillness and serenity and tranquility. But the purpose isn't there. The whole purpose of this is to engage with life in its fullest capacity, to be a conduit of that blessing into the world, to be a conduit of that consciousness into the world. That your activities, instead of taking and engaging with the world as a consumer, you're engaging the world as a relationship. There's something that everything is there to engage with, and you're there to give that blessing to and give that consciousness to. Work takes on an entirely different framework of engagement. The way you deal with people now, it's not dealing with people, it's you're connecting to people. What can I build? What can I give? The natural state that should come out of this is you just want to connect. You just want to flow. You just want to blossom every single thing around you because you just feel so tapped in. So that's an excellent question, and that's where the philosophy of a river is so important, because it does have to go and feed the garden. It's not that we're siphoning it off into a little, dam here, and we're using the water to put it back up into the river. It feeds into the garden. That's the whole purpose. It's an excellent question. Anyone else? What's your name again? Cassandra, how do you feel?
I feel there's a lot of what you spoke about which resonated with me. One, because I've been on a huge search to find my self-actualization, and you're constantly recreating or creating your reality in every single thing that you do. And I ask myself, what makes me truly happy, and what are we striving towards? But as you say, within the rivers, you're constantly jumping in between. So for me, it's finding that balance, that inner peace, but knowing where I want to go.
Yes.
So it's difficult,
Yes, so what's important to understand, thank you Cassandra, is that these 4 rivers that we identified, it doesn't mean that you dam them up and never experience them. It doesn't mean that now you see an object, you go shopping, no, evil, I can't engage with the world. Doesn't mean that maybe I'll go and connect to people and build things, but shopping, evil, you know? Experience, travel, food, bad, all evil. No. All it's saying is that you don't rely on these rivers to fill you up. You're engaging with these things in a different level. These things are beautiful. You're eating not because, I need to fill the inside that's so vacuumed and empty, but because there's so much energy here that is so beautiful in the world. So this is not to be understood as I switch and cut myself off from the world entirely. It's just saying I engage with the world healthily. That everything is healthy. That I'm not addicted to anything in this world. I'm in control of the world. The world's not in control of me. But again, careful not to get into the ego. It's not I'm in control of this world, but it's I'm one with this world. I'm one with everything around me. Yeah?